Welcome back. As always, be sure to leave a comment if you have anything to add to this video. Also, be sure to check out my other channel, YC Games. And without that out of the way, let's jump right into this video. So, Dying Light was kind of the no-brainer for games. When it came out, it was right at the peak of zombie popularity, right when people were starting to get fatigued with it. But they mixed it with parkour, which was just kind of an obvious combination that it's kind of amazing no one else did it. And they built more on it. And that's why I really, really like this game. And that's why I really want there to be a sequel. And I am super excited for the sequel. And it's kind of upsetting me that it hasn't come out yet. But with that being said, this video is more just talking about what made the first game good, where it kind of faltered in areas, because let's be honest, it's not a perfect game. There's definitely flaws. And where the sequel could definitely improve on things, and what I think they will do in the sequel to improve. So, with that out of the way, let's jump into it. Starting off with the good things this game does. Number one, for me at least, is the parkour. This game was definitely built to be a parkour game with zombies, not necessarily a zombies game with parkour. At least that's what I see, because the parkour is so much fun. If there was no zombies in this city, and it was just, or this island, whatever it is, and it was just about free running, obviously it would lose a big part of it, but it would still be fun because the free running is personally my favorite part of it, and I just love running around the city. And you can tell the map is definitely set up to find routes, and you can definitely get better. It's really a cool learning thing where as you play the game more, you learn routes, you know what to see and what you can climb up on, especially if you're in a chase, running away. You can tell where you gotta go, what you gotta do, what to look for. And it's just really cool. And that's definitely a good part of the map design. Now, there is issues with the map that I'll get to later, but it's really cool that as you play more, you learn what to look for, and as you also level up your skills more, you get more abilities to help with that free running and give you more options for traversal. And that's just probably my favorite part about the game. The combat is also really cool. Now, I'm not as big of a fan of it, but I definitely like what they're going for. You can definitely tell this was originally going to be a sequel to Dead Island, because it's essentially very similar. There's definitely differences, but for the most part it's the same kind of physics thing. You take some big heavy thing, you hit a zombie over the head, and they kind of tip over a little bit into the crowd. It works, it's fun, it is good for what it is. The crafting system's a little more to be desired for me at least, but the combat's also very enjoyable. Another big thing this game added that really didn't need to, because it's a pretty solid game just in the daytime, but is adding the day-night cycle, because at night things get pretty crazy. They introduced these other types of zombies that really are not supposed to fight. Now, on lower difficulties, they're actually not too hard to fight, but especially when you're on higher difficulties, you don't even try, you just run. And that's also where the parkour mechanics really come into play and really make it fun, and that's where you really got to find these routes just to run away from these things. And that is some of my favorite times I've had in this game, is running at night, going out, doing some looting mission, or doing whatever I gotta do, and then I just happen to run into one of these volatiles, the special type of zombies, and then just turning tail and running. Don't even care what my objective is, just looking on the mini-map, trying to find a safe house just to get to safety, find my parkour routes, running, avoiding other types of zombies, because there are still zombies in the city at night, not just these special ones. It is just so much fun. I love that aspect. I got a buddy who absolutely hates it, but different strokes for different folks. I really enjoy it. I never sleep at night. Even if it is a recommended thing, I don't have to do a mission at night, I will choose to do a mission at night just because it's so much more fun doing things at night. Plus, it doubles all your XP you get, so, that's just a big plus for it. Overall, this game is just a blast. Gameplay-wise, I stress the two big good things is the parkour and the combat, and at night, but, mostly the parkour and the combat, which is the gameplay. And that's fun. That's the bulk of this game. Now, the only reason I bring it up now is because most of the rest of this video is going to be bashing it, but it's going to be a lot of nitpicking stuff. I just want to stress that, above all, I really enjoy this game, and I'm really excited for the sequel. And everything I discussed here, they just have to keep the same or do better at. I really can't see them messing up these aspects. The rest are the things that they can really improve on in the sequel. So that's why I'm just doing this little disclaimer here, because it's probably going to look pretty ugly from this point on.
You know what? I'm a team player. I just need to bring them up to speed on
A lot of my complaints have to do with the story. Now, not that the story was bad, it was just generic and boring. And don't get me wrong, I play a game for the gameplay. That's why I like this game so much, because the gameplay is so great. But for a sequel, I would hope they at least try a little harder with the story, because it was... like I said, it's not bad, it's just generic. And for a game, especially a zombie game, where you have to really set yourself apart, the story did not do it. And what worries me is a lot of what we've seen for Dying Light 2 revolves around the story and how your actions have consequences. You know, you can make story decisions that will alter the world around you and stuff. And don't get me wrong, that sounds really cool. However, that's really not necessary. Like, I feel like a lot of people's complaint was the story, and this was kind of their response to it. And at least for me, that's not what I wanted. I just wanted a good, enjoyable story, give me a cool world, give me some interesting characters, and I'll be happy. And I like the idea of actions having consequences and stuff, you know, seeing the world change around me. But I feel like they're spending a lot of time on this and not enough time really refining the gameplay. Because, especially how long it's been to get the sequel out, it better be some pretty damn refined gameplay. It wasn't necessarily the story that bugged me so much, it was more the way they told the story. And this definitely has to change for the sequel. A lot of the main missions had you stop the gameplay, go to some location pretty out in the open, and take a radio call. Now, not all of them, but most of them. And most of the time when this happened, you couldn't do anything. You could just crouch. You couldn't move. You couldn't even walk around. You couldn't loot the area. You just had to sit there and listen and crouch. So me, most of the time, just teabag. Just kept tapping circle, because I was playing on PlayStation. Just kept tapping circle to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. And when I played with a buddy, we both looked like a couple of jackasses, because that's what we were both doing, not listening at all to what they were saying, because we didn't care. Just because it was generic. Because yes, the first time going through, I listened, I wanted to get invested in the story, and I just couldn't. So every playthrough after that, just teabagged away, all the time. Me and whoever else I was playing with, just every single cutscene that made us do that, or not even cutscene, just every single moment that made us do that. It's just such a terrible way of conveying information. Now, I'm not saying like you have to, do in cutscenes or you have to do in gameplay, but at least make the story engaging. Not just you literally sit there and just listen to what they're saying. That's so boring. Also, using seizures. Now, the seizures is actually an interesting idea, but I don't know if they had some bigger plan with it and it was cut or what, but it was just really poorly implemented here. Now, in some parts in only the main campaign, which, probably the other part, if you're doing a main story mission, certain sections you would get these seizures, and that's how you could tell you were, succumbing to the virus, because you got bit. And obviously running around, getting hit, you're going to get bit eventually. So you had to take this antizin stuff, which, honestly, that could be a really cool gameplay mechanic. You had to go, it would actually incentivize you to go out and get these care packages so you would have enough antizin to survive. Now, if it was too overbearing and too annoying, that's a different issue. But the fact that, you only got one dose or a couple doses of antizin right at the beginning of the game, and one right towards the end, and just once in a while would get seizures if it impacted the story, slightly, it was just kind of a waste opportunity, I guess, in a way. Either don't have it at all, because really, I can't think of a single thing it really affected except giving you a weird fever dream a couple times. And that's it. That's the only other time it really affected. And I just finished the game like minutes before me starting making this video. So what was the point? Again, maybe they had some bigger plan with it where it actually was a mechanic, which would be interesting if they did it that way. Or, I don't know. But this was just a lame attempt at something, I guess. That was the bulk of my story complaints. Moving on, I don't really like the grappling hook. And that sounds weird because it is really nice. It's a nice thing you unlock later on to just instantly get you to the top of the building. It especially helps in Old Town if you're running on the streets, you just have to get to the top. And at night, if you're running, you don't quite make a jump, you can just quickly pull yourself to the ledge. It's useful there, and it's really nice, but I feel like it's almost too good to the point that, like, I never used it because it felt like I was cheating. So, I don't know what the actual intention was, if it was supposed to be overpowered and supposed to just get rid of parkour almost entirely, or what, but I really didn't use it as much as it was intended to, I think. Or maybe I used it more than it was intended to. I don't know. I couldn't get a feel for how it was supposed to be used because it seemed really good most of the time, but the other times it felt like it didn't work at all. Like I would try to grapple a ledge and it just wouldn't register the ledge, it would register right below it, so I'd just fall. So that's just kind of an annoying thing also that they should fix if they're gonna implement something like this in the sequel. I don't know. It's a weird complaint, but yeah. It just felt weird to me. Like, it felt like cheating. Another thing they definitely should improve for the sequel would be the crafting system. Now, it's serviceable, it does its job, and it works really well, like, with the med kits, how there's, a couple different kinds you can use, and, like, Molotovs and grenades, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But for the weapons, the upgrades should feel more different. Like, I basically always have the same 4 weapons. At least they feel like the same 4 weapons, even though they're different. Like, I usually have some kind of axe, some kind of machete, some kind of hammer, or a baseball bat, something along those lines of being different. And almost all of them tend to have different kinds of elemental effects added to them. But for each engagement, it did not matter which one I used. Just whichever one was the strongest, I ended up using. And that kind of bugs me. Like, I really like how there are different elemental effects, and they have their different uses, like the whole how if a zombie's like wet or standing in a puddle, you zap them, it does more damage. Stuff like that is really cool. If they're on fire, standing next to an oil drum, it'll catch the oil on fire. That's or a gas. It's awesome. I like those kind of things, but I feel like they should have more of an impact and actually make me choose which weapon to use for different engagements. I don't know. It just felt weird having 4 weapons, but only really using my weakest one just to break it was what I just tend to do pretty much constantly. And that just didn't feel right with me. Now, in the couple trailers that we've gotten and like the gameplay presentation, all that jazz, we've definitely been shown a lot of good things. And among those good things are increased parkour moves. Now, what they've shown off is good. You saw in the one little vertical wall climb, look like some rope action, rappelling down banners. All that's awesome, and that definitely should be included. But honestly, there should almost be a little more. I'm talking like, pipe swing and stuff like that. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I've been saying, I really enjoy the parkour in this game. But there definitely was room for improvement. Horizontal wall running was hugely it was obviously missing, and the fact they showed that off in the trailer already, definitely a good sign that they're also going to include some other cool moves, some stuff that I can't even think of. So that's definitely all in the right direction, just seen off of the gameplay we've been shown. That also needs some more infected type, which also has been shown off in what we've been seeing. Now, not really shown off, just definitely hinted at new infection types, because like I said, especially in the lower difficulties, nighttime really wasn't that scary. Now, that sounds hypocritical, but honestly, it would be cool to, another element to the nighttime. Make it really, really tough. Not because, you're just being chased by these really tough, fast zombies, but you have to look out for different things as well, not just the volatiles. Look out for, I don't know, maybe some kind of traps that they said, stuff like that. Like while you're running, more things you gotta look out for, not just you gotta keep running kind of thing, if that makes sense. Another thing that they should add are some more elemental stuff. Like I said, that definitely was kind of one of the missed opportunities that they had here. It was cool crafting elemental stuff for your weapons, but it really didn't affect too much. So having that affect more would definitely be an awesome switch up. Also, some more traps. I really enjoyed, running through the city. You see, oh, you got a light track, boom, stay for a while. You can stand underneath the light, or just use it just to, get them off your tail for a little bit. The car traps are really cool. Stuff like that. Those kind of like flame things that really weren't a trap. You just kind of activated. Stuff like that. Really awesome. I enjoy that. I want to see more of that kind of stuff. That is the end of this one. Thanks for watching till the end. I actually have quite a bit more to say on this game and the sequel. I'm really excited for Dying Light 2, so I'd love to make more videos about this. But whenever I make videos not about Borderlands 3, no one seems to watch them. So if you're also interested, let me know. Leave a comment saying, anything else that you want to see in Dying Light 2. Are you excited? Did you like the first one? Did you hate it? I really enjoy reading those kind of comments. So, just let me know. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, just let me know. As always, thank you for watching. Leave a comment if you have any other videos you want me to make, any other topics you want me to discuss, stuff like that. Could be really about any game. So yeah, that about does it. Remember, the world doesn't mean anything, but keep your stick on the ice. We're all in this together. See you in the next one. Bye.